down scheme by offensive formation type. So these are two things that I've done to eliminate some hassle in terms of early breakdowns for the week. So I'll share my screen and we'll get started. So here it's just a cut up. This was like 700 plays of a breakdown, and this is showing you the formation type. Now this has different teams on it that were 10, 11, 12 personnel, but the formation type tells me regardless if they were 10, 11, 12, 21 personnel. The E tells me that it was an extended formation. So most likely 2x2 or 3x1. It could be empty 3x2 or 4x1. So it kind of gives me a general sense of when that coordinator is in those formation structures, this is the schemes that he likes to do. So with that, I've taken the scheme and I've tried to drop buckets to where these are really easy concepts where I've created a system that there's about 17 things I think an offense can do, and it eliminates some things early on as I get a good sense, rather than having that, okay, 50% of the time they drop back. Within that, they may 10% run four verts, 10% run a smash concept, 10% run snag, drop back concept, 10% run mesh, and then the other 10%'s 12 different things, and then you're looking at a report and you're like, oh my God, it's crazy. They have no tendencies. But clearly here, their tendency is that 50% of the time they're going to drop back. And then you dive into it a little deeper and you're like, okay, 24% of the time it's quick game, 8% of the time it's sprint out. So you're now looking at this statistic that if you had all these complicated names, and I still do that on the coordinator end, I still have a name, all the past concepts and all that. But now to begin the week, I have a general sense when they get into a extended formation, all right, with no one attached to the box, they are a passing team, all right. And then I'll go in and what drop back concepts do they run, okay? And I've touched that on our what coverages are best a few days ago. So as I was, as you go through, inside zone run play 6%. SO is this was tagged twice, so my GA had messed up. Sprint out, so that's really a higher sprint out tendency, 12%, 3% screen, 2% double screen, 2%. So really you're going through, and there is not a high percentage run, all right, versus an extended personnel. And then you go in, and this team, and this was multiple teams, when they had a wing, it was inside zone, that they're pulling one offensive lineman. I call that a gap scheme. They're inside zone with a Y insert, shot, protection, pass, drop back. So you look and, if they run 85 different types of inside zone, this 30% is skewed. But right now that, man, 43% of the time they're running some sort of inside zone scheme, and 21% of the time they're pulling an offensive lineman, and when they pass, it is a shot protection, which covers up this scheme. And this, again, we got a typo down here, but that would be 8%. Ends, nub tight end, A's an attached tight end, and then you start getting into 12 personnel formations and different things. So that's a quick way for you to get a general sense, especially these Penn State teams of the world that are 11 personnel and they're in that all game long, what they're doing. So maybe you can get into, as a defensive coordinator, some formation checks or formation calls that you give your kids the option of, hey, when that 11 personnel team is extended, this is what we want. And when that guy is a wing, or if he's attached, or they're a nub tight end, or he's in the backfield next to the running back as a fullback type kid, you're able to just get a general sense. So I would highly suggest, you do your formations, and then against a team that's going to do some 11 personnel and be in 10 personnel formations, or 10 personnel and be in 11 or 12 personnel formations, you do this. And then I would highly suggest you have a scheme column to where you're simply breaking it down, so then you can present that knowledge to your players of, hey guys, these guys are really only going to do 7-8 things this game. All right, within that, there may be some wrinkles to, there's different concepts, but this is the main scheme they're bringing in when they're in this formation type. Again, as always, you can follow me on YouTube at YouTube/Spread Defense. Subscribe. All this stuff gets archived there. You can follow me on Twitter at Coach Nick Davis and at Spread Defense. And then I got my CoachTube course up there on stopping RPOs. And soon I will have my Building a Defense from Scratch course that will be rolling out hopefully shortly after the first of the year. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.